Everybody who participates in the wargaming hobby has their shelf of shame. This is a shelf, a table, a closet where you just have a ton of unpainted, unassembled, unopened models. You bought them on sale, you got a deal, you had a binge, you're like, I'm going to finish these quick, and you don't. I am not an exception to this. I have a huge collection of unpainted models that I'm pretty sure is actually bigger than the collection of painted models that I have. This is not usually a big deal. The problem I've been having lately is that since I got my own wargaming space, my own hobby space, I'm more likely to have a game here than I am at a store. So I have to have my own terrain. Now, I've had my own terrain for years, but I just never finished it. And it's been sitting there. In some cases, I've actually had it built for quite some time, just never painted. And that's getting to be a huge problem. Especially because now I'm starting to print terrain as well. And so this is getting ridiculous. So I've got some games coming up in the next few weeks where I want to have finished terrain. So we're going to set our Blackstone Fortress project aside for right now so I can get all of my already built terrain ready to play with. Now it's going to take some work. I do have some pieces that need to be finished. I have some pieces that need to be painted or repaired. I've got a few pieces that are green, and so it's going to take a little bit of work. It's going to take some time, but I'm hoping that this will be a fun series. I'm looking at about, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4 videos, probably tops. We're going to be focusing on buildings, scatter terrain, and then we're going to be focusing on a small kill team board that's really going to be part of a larger 40k board. So, that being said, if you see anything in these videos that you're curious about how I did it, you want to see me talk a little bit about how it works and what I'm doing, how I achieve certain effects, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Leave a like if you like this video. Those are actually pretty important to me, as well as if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button and then the bell button as well. That way you can get notifications for all of my new content. Also, follow me on Thingiverse. That is Synthetic Black. Again, that's thingiverse.com. Just search Synthetic Black, you'll find me. So we started off with the Imperial Shrine. It's got some gap filling and it frankly wobbles a lot. So to fix that, I'm going to create a little base under the main steps that will offset any unevenness in the foundations. I'm going to use milliput and some rock molds just to kind of get started with the basic shape. I will file these down a little bit later. After those have cured, I pluck them off and I start shaping them. Now, I didn't let them cure all the way. They are still malleable, which lets me cut them fairly easily to shape and tuck them in. After I've got them in the position that I want, I start fusing them together with a little bit of rubbing alcohol and some additional milliput. One of the things that I really don't like about this particular terrain piece is you have this high step up here to this really high door, followed by a drop into basically nothing. It's actually a pretty big drop. So I'm going to be using some EVA foam that I purchased at Target. It's basically it's out of the way, a hexagonal shape. They were just really cheap and they were on sale, and I was like, hey, I need EVA foam. So I'll be using that and cutting it to shape, and it's just about perfect to fit right under this lip right here. So really digging that. After that, I'm going to be using some 3D printed tile pieces that I found online to create a shape going across here, and I'm just going to take the rest of the EVA foam and bevel it down. So this is going to be one big base piece. Using some tile grout, I fill in the edges to create the effect of sand where it would naturally accumulate in an erect building. After that, I spray it down with some water just to seal it in. I later go in with some very liquid super glue and create a hard coat that will keep it resistant to water and wearing and generally breaking. After that, I prime it black. It shows up very, very black here in the video. This is a very satisfying phase, and this first phase gives me an idea of how much paint I'm going to need to cover this thing. All in all, I had to refill my airbrush something like 5 or 6 times to cover everything. I then go in with some International Blue as a base coat. This is really probably the only part that's exactly like the box art, and I like this color as a base, but I prefer something a bit more faded and muted in concrete, so I'm going to blend this in with progressively duller and duller grays. It's important to start dark towards the base because things at the base of a building tend to get a bit more wear and tear. Whereas with the interior pieces, I'm going with a straight blue. And this is a really classic, almost 1950s look. It's a very pale blue that's very easy on the eyes. After that, I go in with a mid-tone gray and start blending more towards the mid-ground of the building. This starts to simulate dust that you would see accumulating up in the air in the higher regions of a bombed-out building. I hit up the top sections with this same color, mainly because I don't want to have to start blending from a black into a light gray like I'm doing here. This is a really light concrete color, and it really hits on the tone that I'm looking for. And this gradient is actually perfect, and I'm pretty happy with where this all turned out. Although I do some things later on in the video that will mute this, but I'm pretty satisfied with it. After that, I go in with a concrete brown color to simulate a lot more of the road dust that you would see from more gritty and rubble and debris. This is going to get toned down again a little bit later, but I really like it, and at a certain point here, outside of this video, I'm probably going to bring this effect back a little bit more and repeat this exact same color scheme across all the buildings that I'm working on. After that, I go in and I start to use masking tape and liquid mask to cover up the areas where I don't want any of the gold paint to hit for the Aquila, the Imperial Aquila as it's called. After I've sprayed it all gold, I go in and I tear off the masking tape. I'd show you the gold part, but it's actually kind of boring. The masking tape works really well. The liquid mask is quite cumbersome. I then go in with a Vallejo liquid metal gold. I think it's dark aluminum, I believe. Either that or gunmetal. And just start doing some of the trim, the detailing. I do decide to go in and do up all the bottoms because I feel like those might see a lot of wear and tear, and therefore they'd be a little bit more metallic. After that's all done, I go in and use an oil wash on the entirety of the model. This is a brown wash primarily. I'm not using any black, but it's really just brown. It's really just brown oil paint and white spirits. It's actually really satisfying to see this done. I find it looks better. And frankly, oil washes, they work a little bit better on large terrain pieces than a standard Games Workshop wash, mainly because they stay fluid longer. Games Workshop washes tend to dry really, really fast, and it's very easy to lose track of what's going on and see a part that, you know, the paint's not sitting right. You have to go back and fix it, and it's just a nightmare. With an oil wash, you can just set it and forget it. The downside is it does take like an entire day to really dry and fully. All told, I am extremely satisfied with this project. It turned out pretty much exactly like I wanted. Now, I did run out of time for the video to do some of the detail work, particularly on the lights and things like that, but really, that's secondary detail in my opinion. I think that this is pretty much ready to go. It's battle ready. In later videos, you may see this pop up again, and it may be a bit more finished, but I feel like this is pretty good for what it is. The front's good, the back's good. I'm happy. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, again, please hit subscribe and ring that bell for notifications. If you really like it, please share it with your friends. I do enjoy making these videos for people to view and enjoy. It's just kind of fun watching this stuff, and it certainly is a lot of fun doing it. Your viewership means the world to me. Thank you very much. Have a great day.